Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshai Barakatham. To the brothers, Shalom, Yahweh Shemar Latham, Baal Shem Yahshai to the sisters. Today's a scripture breakdown class. All right. If anybody has any questions, type in your questions in the chat. If you have any questions in the class, ask your questions. The topic today is all the prophets of God were only sent to save Israelites. Okay? Nowhere in the Bible does it say of any prophet that they were sent to everyone. It only says that they were sent to the Israelites. Okay? That's in the Bible. And that's what we're going to show today. Because in the Christian church, they teach you the opposite. We have been taught the opposite of the truth, which is a lie. Okay? We have been taught that Christ came for everyone. He died for everyone. That God loves everyone. And that's not true because the Bible doesn't say that. You understand? So when we believe that, it becomes a problem because we're not living in reality. We're living in a false reality. We're living in lies. Okay? And we're here to bring the truth out. So, with that being said, the first brother we're going to read about is Paul. All right? Because a lot of people like to quote Paul to say that all people can be saved. But, of course, we're going to go into Paul and show that he was not sent to everyone. He was only sent to the Israelites. Okay, so let's go to Acts 22 and 21.
The book of Acts, chapter 22, verse 21. And he said unto me, Depart, for I will send thee far hence unto the Gentiles. Verse 22.
1 second, let me get there with you, Ak. No sweat. Acts 22. Shalom, shalom. Adawan Yahweh Shem Shabbat. Shabal, shalom, sir. Shalom, so up on God. Shalom, sis. Alicia, Dominique, what's going on? So where we at? Acts 22 and 21. Now, this is when Yahushua, or as the world knows him, Jesus Christ, this is when he appeared to Paul. Paul was going to go and persecute Israelites. Okay, he was going to Damascus to go and grab Israelite men and women, to grab Jews, brothers and sisters who served Christ, to bring them back to Jerusalem. Okay, to put them in prison. You understand? To hurt them for believing in Christ. Or as we know him in the truth, as his real name, Yahushua. Okay, and as Paul was going, let me see if I can get a little bit of the story. Acts 20, 22 and 21. Okay, let's go to verse 6. 22 and 6.
The book of Acts, chapter 22, verse 6. And it came to pass that as I made my journey and was come nigh unto Damascus about noon.
So this is Paul speaking. Keep going.
Suddenly there shone from heaven a great light round about me. Verse 7.
Hold on. Let me make sure that people can hear you online. Go ahead and read that again.
Okay. Verse 6. And it came to pass that as I made my journey and it was come nigh unto Damascus about noon, suddenly there shone from heaven a great light round about me. Verse 7.
Hold on 1 second. Nowhere in the Bible does it say, Shalom, Book of Acts, chapter 22. All right, we good. Okay. All right, so keep going. Start from the verse where you at.
Verse 7. And I fell unto the ground and heard a voice saying unto me.
So Christ appears to Paul, right? Christ appears to Paul as he's going to Damascus to go hunt down Jews, to go hunt us down, the Israelites. So now we're in verse 7, right? All right, so Paul heard a voice saying unto him, which is Christ. And what did Christ say?
Saul, Saul, why persecute thou me?
He said, Saul, why persecute thou me? Why did Christ say that? This is a precept to help you understand brotherhood, which is something that our enemies don't understand. These IUIC purple pigs don't understand brotherhood because they don't understand Christ. They have the spirit of Paul, or Saul, as I should say. They have the spirit of Saul. Okay, they're out there persecuting their own brothers, want to put their own brothers in jail, right? They have the spirit of a police officer. Am I saying Paul was a police officer or Saul? No. What I'm saying is the same evil spirit that Saul had towards his brothers, that's the same spirit these purple pigs have. And they don't understand that when they persecute the Israelites, men who serve Christ, the way they persecuted us in Kansas City, they don't understand that they're persecuting Christ. That's why Christ is telling Saul, 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 why persecutest thou me? Because Saul was going over to Damascus to destroy men and brothers, sisters and men, brothers and sisters, Salagia, who serve Christ, who serve Yahushua. And he's telling Saul, why persecutest thou me? Because what we do to our brothers, we're doing it to Yahushua, because he died for us. So the way that we treat each other shows how we feel about Yahushua. Okay? And these IUIC purple pigs, they don't care about Yahushua. They want to put Yahushua in jail. You understand? They want to put Yahushua behind bars. They want whatever they do to the Israelites, Black Hispanics, and Native Americans. That shows you the love they have for Yahushua, which is no love. You understand? So with that being said, right, that's what the Yahushua told Saul. Okay. Now drop down to verse 10.
Verse 10, and I said, what shall I do, Lord? And the Lord said unto me, arise and go into Damascus, and there it shall be told thee of all things which are appointed for thee to do.
So after Yahushua appeared to Saul, Saul was given orders to still go to Damascus, and there he will be told what to do. All right. Go to verse 20.
Verse 20. And when the blood of the martyr Stephen.
So like you go to verse 18.
Verse 18. And saw him saying unto me, make haste and get thee quickly out of Jerusalem, for they will not receive thy testimony concerning me. Verse 19. And I said, Lord, they know that I imprisoned and beat in every synagogue them that believed on thee.
You see that? And Paul is saying, he's telling the Most High, they know what I've done. I beat and imprisoned in every synagogue them that believed on thee. You understand? That's what Saul was doing. Verse 20.
Verse 20. And when the blood of thy martyr Stephen was shed, I also was standing by and consenting unto his death, and kept the remnant of them that slew him.
You understand? So Saul was an evil brother before he came into the truth and started serving Yahushua. He was an evil brother. He was killing his own brothers, putting them in jail for the reason that they served Yahushua. Right? Verse 21.
Verse 21. And he said unto me, depart, for I will send thee far hence unto the Gentiles.
So Yahushua tells him, I'm going to send you to the Gentiles. Okay? So with that being said, now that we got a little bit of understanding of Paul and how he came into the truth and who he was sent to, which were the Gentiles, let's go a little bit deeper into Paul. All right. I'm saying Saul because Saul is what he was known as before he came into the truth. After he came into the truth, he was He was then called Paul. All right. So now let's go to Acts 21 and 18. Okay, so remember, Yahushua sent Paul to the Gentiles. Okay, because he told him, go to Damascus, and there it shall be told thee what to do. And what was he told to do? To go to the Gentiles. That's his sole purpose. So now let's go to Acts 21 and 18.
The book of Acts, chapter 21 and verse 18. In the day following, Paul went in with us unto James, and all the elders were present.
So Paul went in with his brothers to the elders, right? Go ahead.
Verse 19. And when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things God had wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry.
So now he's giving a report of the things God had worked among the Gentiles by his ministry. Why? Because, of course, Yahushua once again sent Paul to the Gentiles. So now Paul is giving a report to his elders who also serve Yahushua, men who are above him, who he is under command of, the things that God worked among the Gentiles by his ministry. You understand? He has a ministry not in Jerusalem. He had ministries not in Jerusalem, but in places like Galatia, which are the books you read in the Bible, Galatia, Philippians, Ephesians, Thessalonica, the book of Romans, because Paul was sent to Gentiles, and now he's giving a report of the things that he has done among the Gentiles through his ministry, through his work. He's giving a report of his work. That's what we just read in verse 19. Now let's read verse 20.
Verse 20. And when they heard it, they glorified the Lord and said unto him.
And when they heard it, who is the they? Go ahead up.
The elders that he's speaking to.
Right, the elders that he's speaking to. That's the they. And when they heard it, meaning when they heard his report, keep going.
They glorified the Lord.
Okay.
And said unto him, thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Jews there are.
How many thousands of what?
How many thousands of Jews there are.
Of what?
How many thousands of Jews?
How many thousands of Jews? Not how many thousands of Gentiles. Even though Paul is giving a report regarding Gentiles, they refer to those Gentiles as Jews. You understand? And they say, thou seest, brother, how many Jews? Keep going.
Thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe.
How many thousands of Jews there are which believe? Meaning, Paul was talking about Jews. He was not talking about Gentiles, literal Gentiles, meaning a person who is not an Israelite, a person who is not of the race of Israelites, also known as Jews. Even though Paul gave a report on Gentiles, the Gentiles that he was speaking of were actually Jews. You understand? How do we know? Because of what we just read. That's how we know, because of the Bible. You understand? Keep going.
And they are all zealous of the law.
And they are what?
And they are all zealous of the law.
And they are all zealous of the law. Thou seest, brother, how many Jews there are, and they are all zealous of the law. That's another key to understand that these two precepts are talking about Jews and not literal Gentiles, because the law was only given to Israelites, to Jews. So it can't be possibly talking about actual Gentiles, because the law was not given to Gentiles. It was given to Israelites. You understand? So now, with that being said, let's go to Ephesians 1 and 1. Okay, let's go to Ephesians 1 and 1. Ephesians 1 and 1. This is a letter from Paul, from the Apostle Paul, right? As the scriptures call him. This is a soldier of Christ. Paul was a soldier. Okay. He was a soldier. He was not a coward. He was a straight soldier for the Lord. One thing I want to point out, man, for the young men, this is not a religious organization. For anybody watching, any people who are new to this is not a religious organization. When you come in here, you need to take all that religion out of you and don't think this is religious. Religious is the Christian church. People in the church dancing and hopping and you know, talking Yiddish talking crazy out of their mouth. What do they call it? Speaking in tongues, shaking and dancing and hallelujah, and you know, celebrating Christmas, celebrating Thanksgiving, and you're a Christian. That's religion. This is not religion. Okay, don't get it confused. The Bible has nothing to do with religion. God is not about religion. Yahushua is not about religion. The prophets were not religious. Okay, the prophets were Israelites. It's like me saying Bruce Lee. What was Bruce Lee? Asian? Bruce Lee, whatever he was. Okay, I'm sorry if I make a mistake. Don't be offended. Chinese. Bruce Lee is Chinese, right? Chinese is not a religion. You understand? Chinese have a culture that they live by, right? They eat certain foods. They celebrate certain holidays. They wear certain clothes. They have certain beliefs. That's not religion. That's their identity. That's their culture. You understand? That's the same thing here in the Isupk. This is our culture. It has nothing to do with religion. This has to do with Black Hispanics and Native Americans coming back to their culture, coming back to their identity. You understand? Meaning your identity is that you're Israelite and you have a Father in heaven who the world knows as God. And the God that we believe in is not the God that the Christians believe in. The God that we believe in is real, and he is not religious. This is about coming back to your identity, coming back to your way of life, the way of living, which is by the rules that our God gave us. That's not religious. That's cultural. You understand? That's what it's about in here. That is what it's about. Okay? It's about us coming back to our identity. Why is it important? Because religion will have you, if you're in here and you think this is about God religiously, then you're going to have a Christian spirit. Okay? That's not what's in here. In here is grown masculine men. You understand? That's what it is. It has nothing to do with religion. It's about men and their culture and their family and you know, being a nation. That's what it's about. Okay? It's not about religion at all. Not one bit of this is religious. This is absolute family business. Okay? Don't ever wake up and think, oh, I'm religious. I'm keeping the laws in the Bible, so I'm religious. No. You're keeping the laws in the Bible because that's your identity. That's who you are. You understand? You can't be walking around like religious, like humble, and I'm a Christian. No, you're in the wrong place. You're an Israelite. You understand? It's like somebody says that's a Chinese man, right? They eat rice. They serve this God. They speak this language. You understand? They live this way. They wear this type of clothes. This is how they do their marriages. This is how they you know that's how they live. It's not religion. Same thing with us. This brother right here is an Israelite. That's an Israelite man from the tribe of Issachar. They don't eat pork, shrimp, crab, or lobster. Why? Because of religious? No, not because of religious. Because that's their lifestyle. You understand? That's their life. That they don't eat pork because that's their lifestyle. It's a sin for them to eat pork. And no, it's not religious. They have a God that they obey, who is their father, and that's how they live. Period. It's not religious. You understand? You got to get that in your head, because you can't be walking around with a religious mindset. You got to walk around with a mindset of, this is who I am, this is my identity, and I'm not going to hide it from anyone. This is me. You know, the Bible says to be a certain way, for a man to be a certain way. That's how I'm gonna be, because that's who I am. You understand? But yeah, that was a sidebar. But let's get back to this. So now let's go to Ephesians 1:1.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 1 and verse 1. Paul, an apostle of Yahweh HaMashiach, by the will of God, to the saints which are at Ephesus, and to the faithful in Christ Jesus.
Okay, so it says to the saints which are at Ephesus. So this is Paul speaking once again. And we all know, based on the class of today, that Paul was sent to the Gentiles by Yahweh Shai. So Paul is writing this to the saints which are in Ephesus. So he's writing this to who? According to the Bible. Go ahead.
The saints.
To the saints, right? He's writing it to the saints. That's correct. Go ahead up.
To the Israelites.
To the Israelites. But according to the Bible, who is he writing it to? Based on the precepts we read. If go ahead.
The elders?
No. Read it again from the top. Ephesians 1:1.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 1 and verse 1. Paul, an apostle of Yahweh HaMashiach, by the will of God, to the saints which are at Ephesus.
To the saints which are at Ephesus. Paul is writing this to the saints in Ephesus. Ephesus, right? Ephesians. But what are they known as? Who was Paul sent to?
The Gentiles.
The Gentiles, right? So Paul is writing this to the Gentiles. That's who he's writing this to. Okay? And the Gentiles, he's also calling them saints. So this is who he's writing it to. Now let's go to verse 5.
Verse 5. Having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Yahweh HaMashiach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will.
According to the good pleasure of his will. Meaning it was God's will, and he predestinated us. He's talking about us. He's saying us, right? He's also including Gentiles. God predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Yahweh Shai Mashiach, right? AKA Jesus Christ, for people who are not familiar with Jesus Christ's real name. Okay. So he's talking to the saints, AKA the Gentiles, saying that the Most High, having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Jesus Christ to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will, right? So okay, we know it's clear Paul is speaking to Gentiles in Ephesus, or to the saints in Ephesus, right? Which are Gentiles, because that's what he was sent to. Okay? So now let's go to Romans 9:4. Romans 9:4.
The book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 4. Who are Israelites to whom...
So now, real quick, Salakia. This is Paul speaking. Okay? He's saying, who are Israelites? So he's speaking about Israelites. Keep going.
To whom pertaineth the adoption.
To whom pertaineth what?
The adoption.
The adoption belongs. Somebody look up the word pertaineth. want to look up the word pertaineth. The water for everybody who is tuned in to class. If you have any questions, type in questions in the chat. All right. Anybody got the word pertaineth or pertain? It could just be pertain. Shalom J. Yahweh Hashem Yahshai Barakatah. Young man checking in from Los Angeles, Most High in Christ. Shalom Adawan Yahweh Hashem Yahshai Barakatah. Most High in Christ, sir. Shalom Trooper Natazayab. Amath, tuning in from Chicago. Shalom Ak. Anybody got the word? You got it?
Sir.
All right, go ahead.
The definition of pertain is the Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Be appropriate, related, or applicable.
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 Any other definitions? No. Pertain.
So I get the word pertain.
Mm-hmm.
This is the definition of pertain out of the Merriam-Webster dictionary: to belong as a part, member, accessory, or product; to belong as an attribute, feature, or function; to belong as a duty or right; to be appropriate to something; to have reference.
You understand? Everybody heard that. To belong to, meaning the adoption belongs to the Israelites. So now if we go back to Ephesians, Paul is saying to the saints, which are in Ephesus, or to the Gentiles, that we have been predestinated unto the adoption of children by Jesus, by Yahweh Shai Mashiach. So this is talking about Israelites. You understand? This is how you would cut fake Israelites, Christians, people in the world who think they know the Bible, about who Paul really was sent to and who he was talking about. Because you understand, they're gonna come at you with ultimate confidence that they know what they're talking about. Of course, you have nothing to worry about because you know the Bible, because you're learning from men who understand the Bible. You understand? You're learning from men who did this for a very long time. And the Lord is with those men. Therefore, the Lord is with you, with us. You understand? So this is how you would cut them. All right. So now let's move on to Galatians 3:28. This is also another precept that they bring out a lot to prove that Paul was sent to everyone, or that salvation is for everyone in every nation. Of course, that's not true.
So you said 2:8.
Yeah, Galatians 3:28.
The book of Galatians, chapter 3, verse 28.
And Salakia, also, when you're battling somebody, you never want to be on the defense. You want to be on the offense. You understand? You never want to try to prove to them that you're right. I wouldn't say you never want to prove to them that you're right, but you want to make them show you that what they're saying is true. You understand? And you want to show them that they're wrong. Right? I'll give you an example, right? With this verse. If you go to Galatians 3:28, go ahead and read it when you have it.
The book of Galatians, chapter 3, verse 28. There is neither Jew nor Greek.
There is neither Jew nor Greek. Go ahead.
There is neither bond nor free.
There is neither bond nor free. Go ahead.
There is neither male nor female.
There is neither male nor female. Go ahead.
For ye are all one in Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
For ye are all one in Yahweh Shai Mashiach. So they'll read this to you and say, you see, there is neither Jew nor Greek. So you're saying that the Jews, they're the only ones who are going to be saved. But here it's saying that there is neither Jew nor Greek, for you're all one in Christ Jesus, meaning we're all one in Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter if you're a Jew, it doesn't matter if you're a Greek. So they'll say, you see, salvation is for everyone. But how would you cut them? How would you make them, how would you cut them with this verse? They're telling you that it's talking about. They're telling you that you're wrong. You're wrong. What if I told you? You say I read this to you. And I'm like, hey, you're wrong. You see, it's saying that that there's neither Jew nor Greek, for you're all one in Jesus Christ. So we are all one in Jesus Christ. So you're wrong. You're saying that salvation is for everyone, but here it's saying that there's neither Jew nor Greek. It don't matter if you're a Jew or if you're a Greek, you can be saved. How would you respond to that? It's right there. Right? In the first sentence where it says there is neither Jew nor Greek, it's only talking about two people. So you would tell them, well, if salvation is for everyone, you're still incorrect. If that's your point, you're still incorrect because this is only talking about Jews and Greeks. Where is the Asians? Where is the Arabs? You understand? So according to this precept, we're the only people who are being saved, or the only people who are one in Jesus Christ are Greeks and Jews. And then that's when you'll cut them. You understand? And then that's when you can keep reading. Watch, keep read the next verse.
There is neither bond nor free.
There's neither bond nor free, meaning it doesn't matter if you're someone who has a slavery or if you're someone who doesn't have a slavery, right? Keep going.
There is neither male nor female.
It doesn't matter if you're a male. It doesn't matter if you're a female. Go ahead. It doesn't matter if you're a man or if you're a woman. It doesn't matter if you're a Jew or a Greek. You understand? That's talking about. It doesn't matter if what Paul is saying. It doesn't matter if you were an Israelite born in Jerusalem or if you're an Israelite who's born outside of Jerusalem, right? You live in, you were born and you live like a Greek. You follow their customs. You don't follow the customs of your people. That doesn't matter. You understand? It doesn't matter. Oh, you were born in your own land. You weren't, so you're less because you weren't born in your own land. Paul is saying that don't matter. And it don't matter if you're bond or free. It don't matter if you got a job or if you don't got a job. It don't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a man or you're a woman. Keep going.
For ye are all one in Yahushua Mashiach.
Because we are all one in Yahushua Mashiach. Meaning what? Meaning the Most High is not a respecter of persons. You understand? Just because you have a good job and this person doesn't, you're going to be treated the same in here. Money is not what makes money is not what is valued in here. You understand? We're not going to favor you because you have money. We're not going to favor you because you're a man and this is a woman. You understand? When it's time to give a judgment on who's right and wrong, it's going to be based solely on righteousness. You understand? And this is also talking about whether you're a man or you're a woman, whether you're someone with money or with no money, you're going to be held accountable just like someone with no money. You're going to be held accountable just like a man would be if you're a woman in here. Because we all have to hold a standard in here. You understand? There's a certain way we have to be, and everyone is held to that standard. Don't matter if you're a man, if you're a woman, if you're rich, you're poor. None of that matters. You understand? That's what that precept is actually talking about. But I gave you an example first of how a fake Israelite will use it, or a Christian will use it to try to condemn you on what you're teaching. Understand? So now with that, let's read verse 29.
Verse 29. And if ye be Christ, then are ye Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise.
And if ye be Christ, you understand? Then are ye Abraham's seed, and here is according to the promise, because the promise was passed down to through the lineage of Abraham, right? The Abraham to his son Isaac, and to Isaac's son Jacob. That's who the what's it called? Why did this slip my mind? That's who the covenant was passed down to. You understand? So we're part of that covenant. You understand? So it's saying, and if ye be Christ, the ye is talking about the Jews and the Greeks that Paul is talking about. And if ye be of Christ, then are ye Abraham's seed. And here's according to the promise. Now, who was the promise given to? What's a precept that you can use to show that who the promise was given to? Because if you can find a precept that shows who the promises were given to, then you can prove who this is talking about. Even though it says Jews and Greeks, you can show that even though it says Jews and Greeks, based on verse 29, when it says that these Jews and Greeks are heirs of the promise, whoever the promise was given to, that's who Paul is referring to. You understand? So do y'all know a precept that we can use to show that? Anybody online know a precept that we can show who the promises of the Most High were given to? Go ahead, up.
Romans 9:7.
Close. Is it 97? No, it's not 97. But that was close. You damn near there. Nobody online?
So,
Go ahead, up.
Romans 9:4.
Romans 9:4. Give the brother a hand, man. Romans 9:4. That's correct. You were there too. In the Romans 9:7, Romans 9:4 is right there. But the brother was right on the spot. Romans 9:4. So let's read Romans 9:4 again. We read it earlier.
The book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 4. Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption.
Who pertaineth the adoption, go ahead.
And the glory.
Uh-huh.
And the covenants.
Mm-hmm.
And the giving of the law. And the service of God. And the promises.
And the promises. You see that? The promises were given to the Israelites. So, Paul, even though he says in Galatians 3:28, there is neither Jew nor Greek, you know he's talking about Israelites because that's who the promise was given to. And that's how you would cut that Christian after you made him stutter and think about, oh, damn, he has a point. Now you have his attention. Now you read that and you question him. Well, who were the promises given to? That's you being on defense. You're not trying to show him who the promises were given to. You're telling him, well, you see, you're not making sense. It's only Jew and Greek, so it's not talking about everyone. You understand? And then you tell him, well, you tell me, who were the promises given to? Were the promises given to everyone? You would have to show me that the promises were only given to the Jews and the Greeks. And then he can't show you. You understand? He can't show you because it's not in the Bible. And that's when you pull this and you show him, and now you cut him. You understand? Now he's going to run to some other precept. All right? Do y'all understand that? Y'all get that? All right. And you can also use Romans 9:4 for the verse we read earlier in Acts 21:20, when Paul was giving the report to his elders. It's in Acts 21:19. I'll read it. He says, and when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things God had wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry, right? Verse 20 says, and when they heard it, meaning when the elders heard his report, they glorified the Lord and said unto him, thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe, referring to the Gentiles in Paul's ministry. And then it says, and they are all zealous of the law. Meaning these Jews were zealous of the law. So you go to Romans 9:4 again and show that the law only pertaineth to the Israelites. So they're talking about Israelites here. You understand that? So y'all want to keep this in mind, because it's going to come to when someone's going to challenge you on it. Someone's going to come up to you and try to battle you on it, and it's your job to defend the truth. It's your job to battle that person. You understand? The truth, we don't fight physical battles. We do if we have to, of course. We believe in self-defense, but we also we need to master how to fight verbally. And to do that, to defend his truth, you got to know these precepts. You got to know these breakdowns. You got to know how to battle somebody. You understand? Just we got to keep this in mind. So when somebody tries you on it, you understand? You won't stumble. You won't mess up. All right. So with that being said, now let's go to Peter. We're going to go to Peter and show that Peter also is misunderstood in the scriptures. And they believe that Peter promoted that you can eat unlawful animals, even though that's not what the class is about. But in that chapter where they misunderstand him, it shows us that Peter is clear on who he was sent to, right? So first, let's go to Matthew 10 and 5. These are milk scriptures. These are scriptures that you learn coming into the truth. If you're a young man, these are scriptures that you learn as a young man to make you stronger, to make you understand more difficult precepts. All right. So we go to Matthew 10 and 5 to show, first of all, who Peter was sent to by our King, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who you know is Jesus Christ. We go to Matthew 10 and 5 real quick.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 5. These 12 Yahweh Shai sent forth.
These 12 Yahweh Shai sent forth. Paul was the main of the 12. Okay, keep going.
And commanded them, saying.
So he commanded the 12, meaning he commanded. Did I say Paul? I meant Peter. Okay, Peter was the head of the 12. He was the Christ's right-hand man of the 12 disciples, Peter. So if Christ is commanding the 12, he's commanding Peter also. Keep going.
These 12 Yahweh Shai sent forth and commanded them, saying.
And also, man, I want to point this out. You think Peter and the disciples wanted to do what they wanted to do? No, right? They didn't do what they wanted to do. It says Christ commanded them. Christ gave them a commandment. Go do this. You understand? And that's how it is in the Isupk. When you come in here, you're not coming in here to do your own will. You're coming in here to be a soldier,
Right.
not to be a civilian. Civilians have their own decisions, their own wills, their own desires. And here, you don't have your own desires. You have to follow orders as a soldier. You understand? You're told to do this, then you have to do it. You understand? You follow orders. If you can't do it, then you let the brother know I can't do it because of this and that reason. That's understandable. But you can't just be given an order and not do it. You understand?
Right.
You need to follow orders in here because that's what this is, an army. And here you follow orders as a soldier. All right? Because look, in the world, we were destroyed. We did our own will. I know I did my own will and I was nothing good. I was trash and garbage and just a mess. You understand? So who am I to come in here and dictate what I do? When there are men 10 times wiser than me, greater than me, better than me, have fought this battle with Satan and fought this righteous battle, this good fight longer than me, who am I to go against their counsel? You understand? That's what you got to keep in mind, because counsel is a recommendation. When a brother gives you counsel, they're telling you a route you can take that's wise. That's the correct way to go. You don't have to do it. It's not a commandment. It's not a sin, but it is wise because they know better than you. They know more than you. So it's wise for you to take that counsel. You understand? 90%, 99, 100% of the time, right? To take that counsel, man, because that's going to save your life. Because you trying to do what you want to do, you already tried that in the world plenty of times. You understand? And what happens in the truth is a sidebar. You come into the truth and you come in, destroyed from the world, on drugs. You have the mindset of someone who was doing crimes, or the mindset of someone in the world who was destroyed, no confidence, a sister in the world. You were in the world destroyed, lack of knowledge of self, on drugs, evil woman, evil brother. You come in here and you got hell, and you got extreme zeal when you first come in here. You got extreme zeal to serve God. You got to keep that zeal. Don't ever lose that zeal. Right. Because what can happen is you can come in here and get strong, right? And once you get strong, now you think that you can go and do your own thing and make your own decisions. There comes a time where you can do that. There comes a time when you get strong in here and you become wise, and now you can lead brothers. You can do your own thing and lead brothers, make decisions. That doesn't mean you're never gonna need counsel, but don't ever think that you don't need your brothers. You understand? Don't ever think that you don't need a leader. That you don't need someone over you, because everyone has someone above them. You understand? Except for the Most High power.
Right.
You understand? Don't ever think, oh man, I'm good now. I don't need to follow orders. I'm solid now. Because that's going to lead you to leave the truth. Now you're going to think, man, maybe I can go back into the world and get that career I wanted. Maybe I can go back into the world and do what I was trying to do. You're going to fail. If the Lord loves you, you're going to fail. The Lord don't give a damn about you. You're going to be successful. Why? Because the Lord don't want nothing to do with you. But if you fail, because the Lord want to bring you back. The Lord wants you back in His truth.
Right.
You understand? Don't get puffed up in here. Like don't ever think that you're good and now you don't have to follow orders.
Right.
You understand? Now you smart. Now you know everything. Now you don't need to follow orders. Now you don't need to say con to one con. That's a demon. That's a evil. You're being misled by Satan. He's trying to lead you out the truth. You understand? You always got to remain a soldier up in here, man. Always remain a soldier up in here. No matter how strong you get, you got to understand the only reason why you have strength and why you're strong, solid brother is because the Lord is with you. Because of the Lord. Because of the men who are above you who serve the Lord. Without the Lord, you'd be that same brother smoking weed, sleeping with hoes, on crystal meth, or robbing, or poor, depressed, schizophrenia. You'd be that same sister, being a hoe, doing drugs, no job. You'd be that same person without the Most High. So you got to always remember that. Always remember that, man. Don't ever let pride get to your head like you don't need the Lord. All right. So don't ever forget your first estate when you came up in here. And don't ever lose that zeal, whether you're a brother or a sister. Okay. So that's a sidebar I wanted to get out there real quick. So let's get back to where were we at? Acts 10 and 15, right?
Matthew 10 and 5.
Okay, Matthew 10 and 5. Keep going. So that's the point. Why did I bring that out? Because Peter, the disciples, they wasn't on that type of time. They was serving Christ.
Right.
They was here to serve the Lord. That's how we got to be. We got to be here to serve the Most High. Period. This is what you're stepping into. You're not here to go get a college degree. Can you get a college degree? Of course. Should you? Absolutely, if you want that. If you need that, you want to go to a trade school, get a better job, right? You got to get yourself right. But that's not the job in here. You understand? You got to understand you're putting on more responsibility on your plate. This work has to be done. This is your job that you're stepping into. This is like being a lawyer. Just as serious as being a lawyer. Lawyers need to learn that law. You understand? You have to be qualified to be a lawyer. Same thing in here. You got to be qualified to be a priest.
Right.
You understand? Any job that you get, this is no different. But this is 10 times more serious because this is the work of the Lord. So you got to do this, and you got to go to the slave, take care of your children, handle your business. This is what you're stepping into. Okay. Now you don't got to be in the school. You don't got to be an officer. You don't got to be a trooper. You can just be a student, and that's fully understandable. You understand? Because it's not a walk in the park. All right. But just know when you come up in here, you're here to do work. And the more rank you get, the more responsibility you're going to be given. Rank is not about flattery. It's not about, oh, I'm a 5,000. Look at me. No. You understand? You're going to get a lot of work. You're going to get more responsibility if you accept that rank. If you accept the rank of a trooper, you're going to get responsibility. You understand? So you got to understand what you're stepping into and be prepared for it. All right? Because this is a job just like any other job. All right, you gotta be here. And that's what Peter and them, maybe they didn't quite understand at the time, but that's what they were stepping into. You know what I'm saying? They were stepping into the work of the Most High. All right. So now let's go ahead and keep reading that.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 5. These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles.
Christ told them, don't go into the way of the Gentile. That's the same thing you got to tell your brothers. Don't live like these other nations. You understand? And they're going to hate us for it. They hated Christ for it. They hated the disciples for it. They're going to hate you for it. But guess what? You got brothers and sisters who love you. We love one another in ISUPK. This is a family. We stand with our king, man, no matter what. And guess what? We stand with our brothers as well. In ISUPK, we love our brothers in the world, man. I love my brothers in the world, period. I don't give a damn. You understand why? Why should you love your people in the world? Even though they smoking drug, even though they robbing, even though they thieves. You understand? Why should you still love them?
Because that was you before you came into the truth.
Because that was you before you came into the truth. What other reason? That's right. What other reason though?
This is a commandment from Yahushua and the Most High.
What's the commandment?
To love your brother as yourself.
To love your brother as yourself. Damn right. You understand? That's why you should love your brothers in the world. And because Christ died for them.
Right.
You understand? If Christ died for them, how important are they? How should you treat them, man? If Christ died for them. You understand? This is the people that Christ died for. Christ isn't asking you to die for them. He's telling you just to love them as yourself. Now, of course, if I see my brother smoking a cigarette, and if that was me, I would okay, I'm addicted to cigarettes. If somebody tells me, man, you gotta stop smoking cigarettes, man, you're wrong. I'm gonna hate it. So if that was me, I wouldn't want nobody to tell me. But I would if I knew the price that I would have to pay for smoking that cigarette. I would be mad at that brother for not telling me if I knew that he knew that if I stopped smoking cigarettes, I'd be given a chance in the kingdom of heaven. You understand? And then I would be mad. So I should tell him to stop smoking cigarettes. You understand? Because that's love. You understand? Telling your brothers to get off of drugs. That there's a better way. There's a better way to live. This is not it. You understand? Telling them that the Most High God of the Bible only loves them. That Christ, even though they're sinners, even though they smoke drugs, listen, I was on the same boat with you. I was doing that too. But guess what? Our King died for us, man. Even though we were sick people, meaning smoking drugs, robbing, all this stuff, right? He still died for us, man. That's what you got to do. You got to tell them, don't stop living like that, because that's the way of the Gentiles. Smoking cigarettes, celebrating Christmas, celebrating Thanksgiving, sleeping with other nations, sleeping with the women of other nations. That's going into the way of the Gentiles, and that's what we was doing. Understand? The Gentiles that Paul was going to, they were worshiping other gods. They were worshiping other gods. Christ is telling his disciples, look, don't go into the way of the Gentiles. Don't live like these heathens. Keep going.
Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not.
And keep going.
Verse 6. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
But instead, don't go to these heathens. Go to the house of Israel. That's who he sent Peter to and the disciples. Keep going.
Verse 7. And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
And go to the Israelites that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Don't go to everybody. Go to my people. Keep going.
Verse 8. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give. Provide neither gold nor silver.
Hold on. Did he say go and kill heathens? He didn't say go and kill these heathens. He didn't say go and destroy these heathens. All he said was don't go to them, but go to my people, go to the Israelites, and tell them that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Go raise the dead of my people. Go heal the sick. Go heal the Israelites who are sick. Go raise the dead Israelites from being dead. You understand? Go alive the Israelites. You understand? That's all he's saying. So that's all we do. People think we a hate group. We not a hate group. All we do is go to our people like Christ, like our King told us, like our brother told us who died for us, and we tell them that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, brother. You got a better future. All you got to do is stop living the way you living. You understand? That's all you got to do. That's the message we're pushing. That's all we're telling them. We're giving them life. We're telling them this truth. We're fighting with our people. How are we fighting with our people? Are we telling them you're going to die? You're not worth anything. You're a piece of garbage? No, we're not doing that. We love our brothers. We're not like these IUIC purple pigs who hate their own people. Right. What did they say? If you got a warrant, I'm snitching. The IUIC said that. They said that. Am I lying? No, that's the truth. What did they say? Trayvon Martin? Who the hell cares about Trayvon Martin? Yahweh Shai cares about Trayvon Martin, man. Right. Christ died for Trayvon Martin. What do you mean, who the hell cares about Trayvon Martin? You understand? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You got to be ashamed of yourself to say something like that. I cared about Trayvon Martin. Everybody that marched for Trayvon Martin, even though in the UPK we don't support marching. Listen, Trayvon Martin was my brother, man. All he wanted was some Skittles in Arizona, and he got killed by some heathen who thought he had the right to take the life of a brother. Right. You understand? Christ cared about Trayvon Martin. The kingdom of heaven was for Trayvon Martin. That's who the kingdom of heaven's for. Who in the hell has the right to kill my brother, Trayvon Martin? IUIC are a bunch of purple pigs, and they don't love Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Their group has nothing to do with loving Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right. Their group has to do with policing and oppressing Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's what they're about. They want to infiltrate infiltrate Israelite groups and destroy them. They're trying to infiltrate the UPK, but that ain't gonna happen. We're the men of the Lord, and the Lord is with us. And the Lord is against. And the Lord said that being an effeminate, you will not make it into the kingdom. The Lord looks at the Lord does not love IUIC. You understand? He's not love men who are effeminate, men who hate their own people, men who take pictures with the police, with cops. You take photos with cops. Really, you take photos with cops? That's a damn disgrace, man. With a cop, the cops who kill people, who kill Black and Hispanics, you're affiliated with the police. You're a disgrace to Black people. You're a disgrace to Black and Hispanics and Native Americans. You understand? You are a disgrace, man. You are a disgrace. MMED, Salakia, sir. They said to go dig up the sister with that purple African unalive. See? This purple African, I forget his name. This member of the IUIC unalive Joe Morgan. And they said, I believe that they're telling me that they said, go dig up the sister. That's sad. How you gonna talk about a sister? She already passed away. Now, why don't they feel sad for her, man? Is it because I heard something about, I don't even know if it's true. She went back to worshiping white Jesus. She went back to, she left the truth. Does that mean you got to kill the sister? Does that mean you got to be happy that she died because she left the truth? First of all, IUIC is not the home of the truth. Right. That's the home of purple sissies, purple pigs, Cinderella men in purple dresses with fringes. Right. That's IUIC. A bunch of sissies with purple shirts and fringes, twirling, dancing, shaking their behind, 40-year-old men twirling and twirling like a lily plant. That's what they are. You understand? And they hate Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Right.
They hate us. Why? Because we're lost. Because we're destroyed. Okay, General Muhammad brought out the proof on Monday. So General Muhammad brought the proof out that they said, go dig up Jordan Morgan. Meaning, go dig her up out the grave since you care about her so much. How you going to say that about a sister, man? You understand? Like, you are absolutely disgusting. Nasty Nate. They call him Nathaniel 7, right? They say, oh, you got to call him Nathaniel 7. And let me repeat what General Muhammad said. Nathaniel 7, real name is Nasty Nate.
Right.
So everyone in the chat, whenever you talk about Nathaniel 7, Nathaniel, his name is Nasty Nate. He's a nasty Nate. Okay? He is a filthy, nasty, he's a filthy, nasty, crooked cop. Probably wearing a purple thong. You understand? He's nasty. He's as nasty as it gets. Okay? He's nasty like you couldn't believe. All right, sending pictures of his penis to members in his group. You gotta be nasty, man. You gotta have a nasty mentality for that. Okay? And they hate women. IUIC hate women. All right? And for them to say that about Jordan Morgan, the Lord is gonna destroy them. The Lord is gonna destroy IUIC. All that purple finally is gonna be gone. I don't know how you can wear purple all day like that. I get tired of wearing purple, seeing it every day, wearing the same purple every day. Like, good night, man. That's a psychological issue. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's the IUIC Purple Pigs, Nasty Nate organization, Nasty Nate Productions. So let's get back to the topic, right? Keep reading. So Peter was sent to Israelites, right? And the 12 disciples. So now let's go to Acts 10 and 15. We read about Paul, how he was sent to the Israelites and to the Jews. Okay? So now let's go to Acts 10 and 15. Okay, so to give you the backdrop, okay, there's a brother named, you know what, let's just read it. Let's read Acts 10 and 1. Acts 10 and 1. Let's go there and start right there.
The book of Acts, chapter 10 and verse 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band.
So Cornelius was of the band called the Italian band. A band is an army. So Cornelius was of the army of the Italian band. Keep going.
Verse 2. A devout man.
Hey, what?
A devout man.
A devout man. Go ahead.
And one that feared God with all his house.
And he was a brother who feared the Most High God. He feared him, meaning he obeyed him. Okay? Keep going.
Which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always.
And which gave much alms to the people. To the people. Okay? Key. He's not talking about everybody. He gave much alms to the people. And you're going to see who the people is referring to. Keep going.
Verse 4. Verse 3. He saw in a vision evidently about the 9th hour of the day an angel of God coming into him and saying unto him, Cornelius.
So he had a vision of an angel coming to him. Keep going.
And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, what is it, Lord?
And when he looked at the angel, he was afraid. Why? Because the angels in the Bible are not soft. You understand? The angels in the Bible look furious, look like soldiers, and imagine an angel with a buff. First of all, imagine angels are buff, right? Glowing, armor, big old sword. Their face is just something that would just, oh, snap. You know what I'm saying? You just jump back. You know what I mean? The face is like just imagine a Rottweiler barking at you. A Rottweiler, just imagine a Rottweiler that hasn't ate in 5 days, who's on a diet of eating steak every day, and he hasn't eaten in 5 days. Imagine a Rottweiler just barking at you. Crazy, angry face. That's how an angel looks. His countenance is just furious. How do you know that? Because the Bible says that. You understand? The mother of Samson, she ran to her husband and said, "A man of the Lord came to me, whose face was furious like an angel." She actually saw an angel. She thought it was a man, but she said that this man's face was furious like an angel, because an angel's face is just ridiculous. You understand? And that's why this brother was scared. He saw the angel. He said, "Oh, what? Oh, snap! What the hell's going on, bro? I'm good. What is it?" You understand? Keep going.
Verse 4. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, "What is it, Lord?" And he said unto him, "Thy prayers and thine alms are come up for a memorial before God."
See, so the Lord sees, the Lord has, now this isn't the point, but this is important to bring out. The point of this chapter is to show that Peter was sent to Israelites, right? But this is stuff that is important to bring out. The works that Cornelius was doing, the Lord saw it. His alms, his deeds towards the Jews. The Lord saw that. You understand? Everything that you do, the Lord sees it. That's what you got to understand. You got to understand that the Lord is always with you, man. And here, you serving the Lord, keeping his commandments, the Lord sees the things that you go through. The angels are watching, and they're giving a report back to the Most High. This brother did this. He did that. He didn't do this. He failed to do this. So when you're doing a good job and you fighting and you're toiling to get the work done, to come to camp, you understand? There's brothers who, they got to go to work. They got to go to work at 4. Camp starts at 12. They come to camp, do their speaking, and go to the slavery. The Lord sees that, man. And that's how you got to be in here. You understand why? Because this is your job. This is what you're stepping into. You don't have to be an officer in the Isupk. You don't have to be. But once you get that oil poured on your head, you're making an oath to do that. You might have a slavery. You got kids. Listen, you got to be at camp. You understand? You got to be at camp. You got to have your speaking ready. You got to be ready to speak, be at camp, and do your job. You got to hold a class. You got to listen, prepare for that class, and hold it every Wednesday. Can you do it? Con. All right, now it's yours. Now you got to hold class every Wednesday, 7 p.m. with a topic. You understand? That's your responsibility now. So this is what you're stepping into. All right? And the Lord sees everything. The Lord sees your works. The Lord sees your deeds, man, everything that you're doing. It was the same thing with Tobit. When you go read the book of Tobit, Tobit went blind. And the Lord gave him his sight back. And the angel appeared to Tobit and his son. And he said, man, the Lord's seen everything you did. Tobit, he was like in America. Imagine you in America and you see people getting shot on the street, getting killed by the police. And you go and bury your brother. You go and bury your brother because you seen him dead. It makes you sad. So you go bury them. And then they snitch on you. Hey, man, he's over here burying his own people. And now the government want to come and kill you. That's what Tobit was doing. He couldn't even eat on a high holy day because he knew that one of his brothers was dead on the street. He was crying, eating food, man. And the Lord told him, look, the Lord seen everything you did. The Lord seen your works. He's seen your alms. He's seen all the deeds you're doing. And the Lord blessed Tobit. A damn angel came down to earth in the form of a man and came down and told him that. You understand? A brother just like you and me. All right, so the angel's telling Cornelius, look, the Lord sees everything you're doing. Keep going.
Verse 5. And now send me to Joppa and call for one Simon, whose surname is Peter. Verse 6.
So the angel's telling Cornelius, send men to Joppa and go ask for Peter. Go ahead.
Verse 6. He lodges with one Simon a tanner, whose house is by the seaside. He shall tell thee what thou oughtest to do.
So he's telling him, send him into Joppa, go get Peter, and Peter's going to tell you what you need to do. All right? That's what the angel commanded Cornelius. Verse 7.
And when the angel which spake unto Cornelius was departed, he called 2 of his household servants and a devout soldier of them that waited on him continually.
They're waiting on him continually. So he called a devout soldier who would just be on the side, just waiting on him, waiting on his orders. A devout soldier of Cornelius and 2 servants. He went and grabbed them. Hey, come here. I need you to go do this. Right? Keep going. Verse 8.
Verse 8. And when he had declared all these things unto them, he sent them to Joppa. Verse 9. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour.
So on the next day, while the men of Cornelius are on their journey, Peter, he goes on the housetop, right, to go pray. Go read verse 10.
Verse 10. And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance.
He fell into a trance. What does that mean? Don't think Christianity. Don't think spookism. Just think practical. Right? He dozed off. That's it. He just went to sleep. You know, when you hungry and you tired, it's hot. You just lay down, man. He just daze out. You fall into a trance. You just wake up like, oh damn. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened to Peter. Keep going.
Verse 11. And saw heaven open and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the 4 corners and let down to the earth.
See, so he saw a vision, okay, in his dream. All right. And he saw a vessel coming down from heaven, a great sheet knit like a big old blanket, right? And it was let down to the earth. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Wherein were all manner of 4-footed beasts of the earth and wild beasts and creeping things and fowls of the air.
So in that blanket, he saw lions, jaguars, leopards, cheetahs, tigers, right? He saw creeping things like lizards. He saw snakes, right? Scorpions, spiders, right? Things that are not lawful to eat. Okay, and he saw fowls of the air. So think of vultures. Think of eagles, hawks. You know, things that you can't eat. Right? Keep going.
Verse 13. And there came a voice to him, "Rise, Peter, kill and eat."
Now the voice that came to him was Yahweh Shai Mashiach. And here Yahweh Shai Mashiach, our King, he's trying to teach Peter something. Because right here, there's something that Peter does not understand. And Christ is trying to show Peter, he's trying to help Peter understand what his purpose was. Christ is trying to show Peter his purpose. Peter don't understand it. Because you got to remember, Peter was born in Israel. You understand? So he had the mindset of someone born in Israel. People in Israel, and in that time, our brothers, they did not look at the Gentiles as equals. Meaning Israelites, the people that Paul went to, the Israelites who were called Gentiles, the Israelites born in their homeland did not look at them equal. You understand? They were like, nah, like they Gentiles, right? So the Lord told Peter, "Rise, Peter, kill and eat." Read verse 14.
Verse 14. But Peter said, "Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean."
Peter said what? What did Peter say? He said, I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. Right? Keep going.
Verse 15. And the voice spake unto him against the second time, "What God hath cleansed, thou that call not thou common."
So now what is Christ telling Peter? Break it down. Just break down what he's saying here. You don't got to get deep with it. Just what is he telling Peter? Right? He's telling Peter, look, he told Peter, "Rise and eat." Peter sees all these unlawful animals, right? That the law says not to eat. Lions, cheetahs, vultures, snakes, rats, etc. Christ told him, look, rise, Peter, and eat. I need you to eat. Peter said, I never, because Peter was born in Israel, he kept the law. He said, I never ate anything anything common or unclean. I never ate these animals. And Christ told him again, what God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. Now a Christian will come to you and say, you see, we can't eat pork. The Christian's gonna put his precept. You understand? A basic Christian, right? Maybe a study Christian, who knows, right? They're all the same. They're gonna tell you, you see, we can eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, because here Christ is telling Peter that he has cleansed the common beast, meaning pork. We can eat pork because Jesus Christ has cleansed the pork. But this is not talking about food. Okay, this is a vision. Y'all with me? All right. Now keep going. Verse 16.
Verse 16. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up against into heaven. Now while Peter doubted himself what this vision which he had seen should mean.
Now, why did Peter doubt the vision? Go ahead.
Because he was in a trance?
No. You gotta understand what we just read, right? Peter doubted the vision, right? To a Christian, this is clear that Christ is saying you can eat unlawful animals, right? That's what the vision was. Paul is doubting that vision. Why did he doubt it?
Because knowing the law and seeing that Christ told him to eat, that was a red flag right away, because Christ would never tell him to eat something that's unclean.
Damn right. Get it, brother Ann. Understand? This shows you that Peter, he knew that Christ would never tell him to eat anything unlawful. You understand? Because he learned from Christ. Peter learned from Christ. So he's doubting it. He's saying, damn, this can't be talking about eating unlawful animals. So what is it talking about, man? You know? A Christian would never do that, because a Christian just serve their lusts. You understand? This shows you that even Peter knew that that's not what Christ was talking about, because he doubted in his mind what it meant. He knew it didn't mean what the common person would think it means when they read this. Right? Keep going.
Verse 17. Now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house, and stood before the gate and called.
So when he woke up, the men were already at his door. Go ahead.
And called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, was lodged here. While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore and get thee down and go with them.
See, so they told him, look, these brothers looking for you, go with them. Brothers came to look for you. What verse are we in?
Verse 20.
Verse 20? All right. All right, keep going.
Verse 20. Arise therefore and get thee down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them.
Okay, so this is the angel, right? Correct? Oh, the Spirit said unto him, behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore and get thee down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. All right, so the Lord is telling him, look, just go with them. I sent them. All right, don't doubt it. Just go with them. Right? That's how we got to be, man. We can't be doubting nothing. You understand? You got to believe when you're up in here. You got to believe in the Lord. How you want the Lord to be with you if you don't believe in it, if you don't got faith? You understand? How you want the Lord to be with you? Would you want to be with somebody who don't believe in you? You got to believe in the Lord, man. The things that the Lord says in here, you got to believe it. The Lord said he's with you. If you obey him, he's going to be with you. Got to believe it. Because the Lord sees through you. The Lord sees what's going on in your head. And when you don't believe in the Most High, why is he going to work with you? Why is he going to give you the power to heal somebody, to bring somebody back from the dead? If you don't believe, you're not fit to have that. You understand? You're not fit to go and do things like, go to Mexico, cross the border to cartel territory and come back. We didn't make it through there because we some You know what I'm saying? Because of us, we went there and came back because the Lord was with us.
Right.
That's the only reason why. Why? Because Captain Yatazak and his brothers, them brothers had full faith in the Lord. The reason why we do what we do in the UPK is because we got full faith in the Lord. We don't doubt. We just go do. We don't doubt the Lord. We just go and do it. You understand? And that's what the Lord was telling Peter. All right. So now with that, let me see if I can skip down just for time's sake. All right, go to verse 22.
Verse 22. And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man, and one that feareth God, and of a good report among all the nation of the Jews.
And Cornelius had a good report among all the nation of the Jews. So that's who Cornelius was dealing with. When it says that he was doing alms and stuff like that in the beginning of the chapter, that's who he was doing alms to the people, meaning to the Jews. That's why he had a good report with them, because of his works. Keep going.
And of good report among all the nation of the Jews, was warned from God by an holy angel to send for thee into his house, and to wear words of thee, and to hear words of thee. Verse 23. Then called he them in and lodged them. And on the morrow Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him. Verse 24.
Okay, so now Peter and the men who Cornelius sent to Peter are now heading back to Cornelius. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 24. And the morrow after they entered into Caesarea, and Cornelius waited for them, and had called together his kinsmen and near friends. And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshipped him.
So Cornelius saw Peter and he fell down to his feet, right? Keep going.
But Peter took him up, saying, Stand up, I myself also am a man.
And Peter said, man, I'm just a brother, man. You ain't got to worship me. Don't worship me, man. That's how we are in the UPK. We don't worship man up in here. Everybody say y'all worship man, y'all follow man. We don't worship men. We worship the Most High God. You understand? And by doing that, we serve our King Yahweh Shai Mashiach. How do we worship our God? We obey him. Keep his laws and his commandments, man. We obey our King Yahweh Shai Mashiach. You understand? How do we obey our King Yahweh Shai Mashiach? How do we obey the Lord? We obey the men established by the Lord. Because Christ ain't on earth. The Most High is not on earth. But men who have the Spirit of God, men who follow his begotten Son, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, are on earth with the Most High Spirit. And we obey them. You understand? We obey those men because they're men of God. But we don't worship those men. We don't worship men up in here. We're not like them IUIC purple pigs worshiping. They worship Nasty Nate. Y'all watch that video where that cat was like, Nathaniel, I love you. Hold on. I didn't mean it like that. Hold on, Nathaniel. Hold on. I love you. We know how you meant it, man. You understand? Spirit of sodomy is up in that. It's up in that place. All that damn purple. One wife, happy life. Much polygamy. That's what they believe in. They believe in much polygamy. They think too many women is a bad thing. Good night. Listen, women are a great thing. All right, I don't give a damn what anybody says. All right, we got the best woman in the world. Listen. How you have a problem with another man having more than one wife? Like, no one's forcing you to have more than one wife. Like, if you want one wife, that's understandable. Ain't no shame in having one woman. You understand? There's nothing absolutely wrong with that. But why are you mad because there's much polygamy in the ISUPK? No one's telling you to get another woman. You keep one woman. That's fine. But don't be mad at another brother because he wants multiple tails. Okay, he wants multiple women. And because women want him. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that, man. You got to hate women. You got to be half a LGBTQ member. Salakia. Okay, you got to be somebody who hates women, somebody who is not attracted to women, how a man is. Okay, to think like that. All right. Okay, you got to be someone who worships men to think like that. Okay, and in the IUIC, them purple pigs, they worship each other. They worship men. They send each other pictures of their penis. They worship each other's. They worship each other. They worship their leader, Nasty Nate. He sends them their photos of his private part. You understand? He rides in on a horse. They just worship Nasty Nate, man. They're not like Peter. Okay, they're not like Peter. They are just some religious cults. All right, they're religious. They're a Christian cult. That's what they are. They're a Christian cult. All right. So Peter's like, look, don't worship me. All right, keep going.
Verse 27. And as he talked with him, he went in and found many that were come together. And he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation.
Or to come. So Peter's telling him, look, man, you know how it's unlawful for me, a Jew, to come unto you, someone of another nation. Now, what he's saying is you're someone of another nation, meaning you're not born in Israel. That's what he's talking about. How do we know that's what he's talking about? Because Cornelius was a Jew. All right? We're about to prove that in a minute. So just hold tight. If you don't understand, we're going to prove it to you that Cornelius was a Jew. And Paul is saying that's what Paul means when he says that. So keep going.
But God has showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean.
But God had what?
But God has shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean.
You see, that's what the vision was about. Now Peter understands the vision that the unlawful animals was actually talking about Jews born in other nations. That's why he says, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation, right? But God has showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. Meaning Christ showed me, look, don't call common what I have cleansed. And what did Christ cleanse? All Israelites. The Israelites who were born outside of Israel. And that Peter got it at that moment. He understood. The Lord showed me not to call unclean what he has cleansed. So that's what it's talking about. It's not talking about food. Keep going. Now we're going to keep reading and show you that who Peter was talking about when he said another nation is talking about Israelites. All right, keep going.
Verse 29. Therefore came I unto you without gainsaying. As soon as I was sent for, I asked therefore for what intent ye have sent for me.
Let's drop down to verse 34 for time's sake.
Verse 34. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth, I perceive that God is no respecter of persons.
At what?
I perceive that God is no respecter of persons.
See, Peter's learning the lesson that Christ wanted him to learn, and that is that Christ is not a respecter of persons. Therefore, the Most High is not a respecter of persons. Therefore, Christ is not a respecter of persons. Don't matter. That's why when you go back to Paul, he's speaking the same thing. There's neither Jew nor Greek. It don't matter if you were born in Israel or if you were born in Greece, outside of Israel, any other location outside of Israel. We are all one in Yahweh Shah Mashiach. And that's what Peter was learning from Christ. You understand? So keep going. So Peter is saying the Lord is not a respecter of persons. Same thing today. Another way to think about it. Let's say a brother comes in here and he has money. He has a gold ring, right? He's got a brother who got money. And then there's another brother that walks in. He's a young man also. He don't have money. He's kind of, got a regular job. We treat both of them the same. We're not going to give the brother with money and a gold ring rank before the younger brother just because he got money. You understand? We're not going to not check this brother with money and a gold ring just because he has a gold ring. We're not a respecter, meaning that's what that means. We don't respect you just because of the money you got. We don't respect you because you got nice clothes on. That don't matter here. And here, things are done righteously. You understand? The brother with the gold ring, the brother without the gold ring, they're both going to sit in the same spot, same chair, they're going to be required to hold the same standard. They're both going to need to raise their hand when they ask questions. When they become troopers, both of them are going to have to go in there, clean that bathroom, come to camp and read, put the camp together, break the camp down. You understand? That's what that means. That's what that also means. Here it's talking about it don't matter if you were born where you're born at. Listen, we all held the same, right? That's what Peter has learned. What he's learned is that Christ died for us, and he died for our brothers who were not born in Israel. Christ came for all of us. You understand? That's what Peter's learning. Like, damn, okay, I gotta go to these brothers who not in Israel. You understand? Even though my people like, nah, we don't deal with them. Nah, Christ wants us to go to them. That's what he's learning. Keep going.
Verse 35. But in every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him.
But in every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. Why is it saying every nation? Because we were scattered amongst every nation. You understand? We were amongst all people. That's what Peter is talking about. Keep going.
Verse 36.
This is a precept to match verse 28 when he says, and he said unto them, ye know how that it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company or come unto one of another nation. He means someone born outside of Israel. Okay? That's what he's talking about. He's talking about the Gentiles that are actually Jews. It's an unlawful thing to do that. All right? But the Lord said, don't call common what I had cleansed. Meaning no. You understand? You got to go to these brothers. All right? So he's saying in verse 35 now, Peter, but in every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. Go ahead.
Verse 36. The word which God sent unto the children of Israel.
The what?
The word which God sent unto the children of Israel.
So this word, what Peter just said is only for Israelites. Israelites in every nation. That's who he's talking about. You understand? Cornelius was an Israelite. That's why Peter came to him. That's why the angel appeared to Cornelius. You understand? And came to Peter. And Peter told him this because the angel told Cornelius, go to Peter and he's going to tell you what it is. He's going to tell you what you need to know. And Peter's telling them. He's telling him, but in every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted with him. The word which God sent unto the children of Israel, preaching peace by Yahweh Shai Mashiach. You understand? And then in verse 37 says what? Keep going.
Verse 37. That word I say ye know, which was published throughout all Judea, and began from Galilee after the baptism which John preached.
Mm-hmm.
How God anointed Yahushua of Nazareth with the Holy Spirit and with power, who went about doing good and healing all that were oppressed of the devil, for God was with him.
All that were oppressed of the devil. Now, when it says all that were oppressed of the devil, it's not talking about all people.
Right.
So we just read in Matthew 10:5 that Christ sent his disciples to go heal only the Israelites. So that and who went to John the Baptist? Israelites. That's what this is talking about. You understand? He didn't go to everybody. He went to the Israelites. Keep going.
Verse 39. And we are witnesses of all things which he did, both in the land of the Jews and in Jerusalem, whom they slew and hanged on a tree.
And they slew and hanged Yahweh Shai, our brother, man. Our big brother, our king, on a tree. A brother just like us. Just like us, human. Nothing magical. He was just a solid soldier. A leader. Had integrity. He was a soldier, man, just like us. Just like us. You understand? But he served the Lord. He did what he had to do. And he was found worthy to give his life to save us. To give us a chance back to our king. You understand? Keep going.
Verse 40. Him God raised up the third day and showed him openly. Not all the people, but unto witness.
Read that again.
Verse 40. Him God raised up the third day and showed him openly. Not to all the people, but unto witnesses chosen before of God, even to us who did eat and drink with him after he rose from the dead. Verse 42.
Oh, you can stop right there. So who was this talking about? This is Peter saying that the word of Yahweh Mashiach is only for the Israelites. You understand? Because they're gonna try to pull this. They're gonna try and pull. They're gonna try and tell you that they're gonna bring out precepts telling you that everyone from every nation can be saved. The preachers gonna come up. They're gonna bring up the precepts. They got, I didn't heard of a couple precepts where it shows that everybody from every nation can be saved, right? Then that's when you got to pull this precept. Acts. This is one of them right here. Acts 10 and 35, right? Because it says in every nation. But then you read the next verse and it tells you that it's only referring to Israelites in every nation. You understand? So you want to show this to cut them when they talk about, but the Bible says in every nation. Well, let me show you what that's talking about. You go right here. This is where you will go. All right. So this is to show that Peter was sent only to the Israelites. He didn't go to save anybody else. They try to say, well, Peter went to Cornelius because Cornelius was not an Israelite. And he told him that Peter told Cornelius that he can be saved. That's not the case. Cornelius was an Israelite.
Right.
You understand? Because it says that he was a devout man. Right. If you go to Acts 2 and 15, I think that's what I want. Acts 2 and 15. Let's see. Okay, that's not what I want. Acts 10 and 5, I think. Let me see if I can get it real quick. All right, Acts 2 and 5, right? Young man, Shalaki Nakawan. You can get Acts 2 and 5. And then we're going to read, young man, you're going to read Acts 10 and verse 2. We're going to read that.
The book of Acts, chapter 10 and verse 2. A devout man and one that feared God with all his house.
A devout man and one that feared God with all his house. Go ahead.
Which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always.
And one that gave much alms to the people and who prayed to God always. Now we go to verse 22, right? So Acts 10 and verse 2 says, I read it again, a devout man and one that feared God with all his house, which gave much. Okay, so a devout man, this talking about Cornelius, a devout man and one that feared God with all his house, right? Now read the verse you got, Nakawan.
The book of Acts, chapter 2 and verse 5. And there were dwelling in Jerusalem Jews.
And there were what?
There were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men.
What?
Devout men.
Devout men in Jerusalem. Dwelling Jews, devout men. That's what Cornelius was. It says that Cornelius, a devout man, verse 2, Acts 10 and 2 says a devout man and one that feared God. And that's how they're describing Cornelius. And now he's describing other Jews as devout men in Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Out of every nation.
Out of what?
Out of every nation.
Out of every nation. That's what Peter was talking about. That out of every nation, he that worketh good and righteousness can be accepted of Christ. I'm paraphrasing. We just read it. It's talking about Israelites. There were Jews dwelling in Jerusalem out of every nation, meaning people from all different types of nations who were Jews, who lived among these nations, they were in Jerusalem. So Cornelius was, of course, a Jew. He was a devout Israelite. He feared the Most High God. Right? So now we go back to Acts 10 and 2. Go ahead and read that again, young man.
The book of Acts, chapter 10 and verse 2. A devout man and one that feared God with all his house,
Mm-hmm.
which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God
Which
always.
gave much alms to who?
Which gave much alms to the people.
Which gave much alms to the people. He went and helped the people. Who's the people? Go to Acts 10 and 22. Go ahead and read that, young man.
The book of Acts, chapter 10 and verse 22. And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man.
A what? A just what?
A just man.
Uh-huh.
And one that feareth God.
Uh-huh.
And of God, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews.
And who has a good report among all the nations of the Jews. Why? Because that's who he went and fed. That's who Cornelius went to. And that's why the Lord appeared to him. Because the Lord saw that he was feeding his people. Even though he was born in another land, he obeyed him. He was devout. And he was doing good deeds to his people. You understand? So that's who Cornelius was. Cornelius was not a heathen. He was not an Italian. He was an Israelite. Okay? That's who he was. And Peter did not go to Cornelius because he was a Italian. He went to him because he was a Jew. And Christ wanted Peter to understand, don't only go and save your brothers in your own land. Go to your brothers who are lost and destroyed and have no knowledge of these commandments and laws. I died for them too. That's the whole point. That's what this chapter is talking about. All right. So with that, I'm gonna end the class, man. Anybody online have any questions? Anybody in the class have any questions regarding precepts? All right. If not, we're gonna end it right there. The water to everybody who tuned in. You got a question, not?
Come on, counselor. I'm trying to find
All right.
So like it was just when Peter said it's unlawful for him to come into any man of another nation. What does he mean by that? It's unlawful.
It's unlawful.
To him, is that what he's saying? So like I'm trying
that is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew. Okay, I want to say what it is, but I'm not 100% sure. Like, are you asking, like, was it a sin?
So I just want a clarification on verse 28.
On where it says, it is an unlawful thing.
Come on.
Okay, I don't know exactly what unlawful. I don't know if it means that it was a sin for him to go to brothers of another nation, because of course he's speaking about Jews. Right. So I don't know if he means it was a sin or if it's just something that's not accepted. It's not allowed. So I don't know if it's the law. I can't recall if it's the law. I would have to call Captain Kadoha or somebody to clarify that. Or if he's just saying that it's something that's not accepted. Right? Meaning it's not a law, but it's just something that we don't do. Right, so I'll get clarity on that, and then I'll get back with you on it. All right, that's a good question. I was wondering the same thing. All right, any other questions? That's what. All right, the water for everybody who tuned in. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Hollywood Israelites. Subscribe to our social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. All right. Shalom Yahweh Ba'ashim Yashai B'Gatham to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shemalatham Ba'ashim Yashai to the sisters. All right. So we're going to go ahead and read these announcements, security announcements. All right. Let me grab them really fast. Right, so these are the ISUPK security announcements. We're the ISUPK started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3 and 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashara, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Okay, upcoming holy convocations. Let me check on that real quick, so like it. Let me get that for y'all. 1 second. Yeah, go check that out. Thursday. One second. All right. All right, so the next high holy day is Memorial Blowing of Trumpets. That's September 15th on a Friday. All right, that's the next high holy day. We're going to be holding that here, San Bernardino, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. All right, come through. We're going to have a class. All right. 1 second. All right, so if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirts, pants, headband, or a scarf. All right, and if you're a sister in the school, coming to the truth, come to class, you know, you got to have your dress on. Have a dress on, you understand? Don't be wearing a dress up to your knees. Wear a nice dress below your knees, right? Have your head covered. Your sister, all right? So with that, the water to everybody who tuned in, shalom.